But as soon as this match finishes, or this series of match finishes, they should be able to leave the server and we can get 2 more bodies inside. Once again, guys, thank you so much for coming. I do these tournaments every single day, 8 o'clock during the weekdays and around 6 o'clock during the weekends. If you take a look at my highlights videos, you'll see everything that I do, 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s. And I also do Fashion Wars, and sometimes I'll also do 5v5 in-houses. Hey, thank you, Reckless, for the follow. I really appreciate that, man. Every time you guys click that follow, it kind of encourages me to keep going. And like I mentioned, I even made a Guild Wars 2 website for our 1v1 tourney. This is our first official season of doing it, but this is like the beta season. I'm using it more to gauge how I'm going to judge who's going to be top, how I'm going to do the ranking system, what kind of points I'm going to use, and it's just all those.
Full.
It's full?
Sorry, I
Oh,
didn't mean to interrupt, but he can't get in the server.
okay. So guys, if you look at the brackets and if you see you're later on in the matches, I'd ask you to leave the server just to make some space. And once we get past the first 2 or 3 matches, it should have enough room for everybody. So if you are in there and you're in the Twitch and you do hear me and you're in the server, I ask you if you're in spectate, if you're sitting farther back in the bracket, just exit the server for now just so we can get Illumin here. He's the last one that we're waiting for. As I mentioned, we have 13 teams in here, so that's 26 players, plus me, that's 27. We can't possibly fit everybody inside. I'm just going to let them know I need one person to exit for now, if you can,
Somebody
please.
did.
Nice.
Somebody left.
Did Illum enter?
Yeah, he's in now. He got in.
Nice. So here we go, guys. Let me take a quick look at Metatron over here, what he's running. He's running Radiance, Valor, and Virtue. Still looks like a Cork. Ooh, interesting. Barbarian with Vampirism. Very, very interesting coming out of this core guard. And he's also running with a Signet of Resolve and Signet of Courage. Very interesting. Sword with Focus, and he's also got Greatsword. Let's take a look at you, the Compassion. He's running with Dagger, Warhorn, ooh, Axe with Shield. Very interesting. Soldier with Mender Amulet. And he's running Tactics. I like to see Tactics Warriors. This is the new changes that they've made in the patch. And they've been pretty fucking strong, to be honest. And he's running Spellbreaker. Let's take a look at our other side. These are 2 free agent teams, guys. So these guys have never fought together. And this is why I like to pair them inside my brackets. Just so that we get a decent match. And then one team doesn't have the advantage of having a little bit of synergy with their partner. There's about 4 free agent teams that we have in here, which is a pretty nice turnout considering there's 13 teams in total. So that's a 9 full complete teams that know each other. He's running Invocation, Corruption, and Herald. Ooh, a Condi Revenant. Very nice. I'm starting to see a huge resurgence of these guys. So Rune of the Soul Beast with Paladine, very interesting. He's running Wilderness, Nature Magic, and Soul Beast. I'm curious to see who they focus first. Metatron is probably the one that they're going to want to focus. The Card Guard is a little squishier. He does have a lot of burst damage. The Ranger does have a lot of kite ability, and so does the Revenant. He has a lot of damage mitigation. Huntress is actually getting caught down. He's getting pinned over there by the red team. Red team doing a pretty good job, but he's mitigating most of that damage. Double dodges out of the way. Maybe he could have saved one of those. He does use his Shield of Wrath. He's getting big damage coming out from the Ranger. Huntress is in big trouble. He's got to get out of there. He does have the Moa stance if he so chooses to use it. He goes for the Worldly Impact, but it's to no avail. He's not able to put any pressure down onto him. I'm surprised that the Guardian is doing so well, especially with the damage mitigation. He's running Power, Precision, and Vitality. He literally, he does a lot of vitality, especially for a core warrior. They end up getting Huntress down, but Yu is very, very low. Equivoco can still take advantage over here. It's a downstate battle. If he can get the stop right, he was about to get it. He does get the stop, and Huntress does get up. Oh my god. Dude, Metatron is stuck in a bad, bad way right now. There is the map mechanic that he could possibly take advantage of. It's in about 45 seconds, but I don't think he's going to be able to sustain that long, even with the size of health pool that he has. Oof, oof, oof. Thanks so much for the host, Naru, and Reckless. Thank you so much for the follow, guys. I really appreciate that. I really, really do. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oni, yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm just going to whisper Oni. This is a best of 3 series, guys. The only rules that I have in this tournament for today is no class stacking, no Condi Mirage, and the class you start with is the class you finish. That's it. Other than that, you can be a core guard, you can turn into a firebrand, or you can go into a dragon hunter. You can change all your weapons, all your sigils, your runes, your amulets, your utilities, whatever you so choose. but those are the main rules that I have. Yep, just too many teams. Give it a minute. So here we go into game 2. We're still waiting for Alum at war. I don't think he left. I think that's him, Huntress Alum, yep. He might be changing something. This is a best of 3 series. Also, hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, Condi Thief is allowed. Because there's a lot, Condi Thief isn't as strong as most people think. You know, there is a hard counter. You just got to be able to dodge the main engages. Hey, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that, 7 HP Gob. I really do appreciate the follows, guys. Every time you click that follow or subscribe, it just encourages me to do these more and more and more and more. I do them every single day. I've been going hardcore, really strong, and I'm watching really good streamers. I'm getting good information from guys like Naru, from Grim, just watching their streams. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt, but Loom said he can't get back in the server for some reason.
Oh, he's there. He's right there. Oh, he can't enter a team. He's got to exit the server and then come back.
Oh, that already means a team. Okay.
Yeah, so he probably can't enter into the team. Sometimes it glitches like that where you'll pull up the actual menu and these buttons won't be there. Hey, thank you again for that, man. I really appreciate that. Who is that? Mod Mordigan. Thank you so much for the follow, guys. And while we're in this little bit of a lull, I highly suggest you take a look right below my stream video. You'll see Guild Wars 2 League. It's a website I created for our first ever 1v1 season and 2v2 season. We're still in the beta stages, but I'm going to make these track with the actual PvP seasons that we have. So when the new PvP season starts, that's when the official first real season of ours is going to go. I've already tracked most of the matches because I do everything on challenge.com. So I take into consideration how many wins you have, how many losses you have, and everything of that nature. If you took a look at the website below, and if you have any constructive criticism, anything you'd like to add to that, or something you wouldn't like to see, or some design flaws, it is something that I made fairly quickly, but at least it's something that you guys can go to and look at, and it gives you a little more clout, like, yeah, I'm number 1 in the 1v1, or I'm number 1 in the 2v2, and it's something we're really lacking in PvP, and it's something I'm trying to bring back to the community. So I really appreciate you guys coming out here and just watching and entertaining and just being here with me. I really do enjoy it. So here we go. Alum at War has finally come back in. I don't think he's made any major changes to his build. It still looks very similar, and as I mentioned, you can change whatever you like. You can change anything. He can go from Soul Beast to Druid to Core Ranger, whatever he so chooses. He just has to stay on the class, and there's no class stacking. They did a really good job. That was super clutch by Equivoco over there on the big stomp, getting the big res onto Huntress Alum. He drops the big AoE right away on top of Alum. He's got to get out of there. He tries to go in for the big damage. He's not able to get any counter, and he doesn't necessarily want to stand there face to face with the warrior and face tank all that damage. As you can see, he's not getting the better of the exchange. He's got to create some distance. He can't just stand there flat-footed. He's got to be able to get away. There goes Equivoco. That Worldly Impact was a little far away to get any damage down. He's in big trouble. He should start kiting. He did use his strength of the pack, so he's just trying to get some big damage, but it doesn't look good for him. Equivoco is trying to support and try to peel for him, but Huntress is just standing there taking the beating. That's very unfortunate. Equivoco tries to get the big stall. He's trying to go for the res. Will he be able to get it? That's going to be super clutch if he can. No, there's just too much heavy pressure coming down. Alum is starting to go down. He does have the pet for the res, but they end up getting the, I think that was a banner stomp. Let me take a quick look at him over here. Yeah, that was. I didn't even notice that he was running with the battle standard and he got the stomp, because I'm pretty sure that Equivoco was going to get that res, especially considering that he had the pet on top of him as well at the same time trying to res for him. That was really nice stuff over there. Doesn't look good for Equivoco. He's trying to get away right now at this moment. It's probably going to be the end of it. There is a map mechanic coming in 35 seconds. He might have some sort of chance. He does stack a lot of condis. So if he's able to mitigate a lot of the damage and then just keep those condis up, there's 0 healing after the bat mechanic. Let me just back up a little bit so I can show you guys exactly what I mean. So when that map mechanic happens, you'll see an AoE effect around this circle that doesn't move. And if you step in it, it does about 5 to 6k, 7k damage per tick when you stand in it. And then on the exterior perimeter of the map, you'll see a large AoE circle that will eventually encroach onto the entire area, consuming all of the surface, forcing them to finish. And here you go. You'll be able to see it at least. There's the middle AoE that I had mentioned. Oof, Duke Metatron standing in the AoE. Equivoco can still do this if he's very, very, very attentive. The big Fury gets pushed off. They're both controlling the top node, which is very smart. Again, Duke Metatron goes down to the bottom. Oof. That could have been really close because I don't believe, yeah, Enlil has been in a lot of my tourneys. He does understand the map mechanic and he does know what's involved. But as you can see, at least you guys were able to see it, especially in the first round considering. Ooh, and I'm really happy about this on top of it. Our first match and our first round is already going to a game 3. So I'm super, super stoked about that. I like seeing that. It always gives me a good idea of what we're going to be getting in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. We do have a lot of teams that have entered. Here, let me post the brackets for you guys one more time so you can follow along with me and see who is going to be participating. I hope I can extend this to EU soon since it does not seem to run. Will be hosting 2v2 in the near future. I really hope you guys do, man. I really, 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 really hope you guys do. Like I said, I try to do these every single day. As a matter of fact, I do them every single day. And that's just to try to bring the community and tell the community that, hey, we're still here. We still want a PvP. And I always, always get enough participants to do these. Where did they go? That was only 1-1, right?
Yeah, it's 1-1.
Yeah, okay. 1-1 series. Let me let them know, guys. This is the first match, and it is going to be a little shaky. A lot of people don't understand. There's some new people, and there are some people that are free agents, so they don't entirely understand the process and how these things function. But after we get to the second or third match, things will flow really, really, really nice, and we'll get some really good matches. 1-1 series. One more to go, boys. So there's Louis PTM, so he understands. He's probably going to jump back in. And he's also with his buddy Enlil, who should jump back in as well. No, I think it was Equivoco. Yeah, Equivoco and Alum, was it? Yeah, there's Louis PTM, and this... No, Alum at War is on the wrong side. Yeah, they're on the wrong side. Let me take a quick look at the brackets. It's Enlil and Louis PTM versus Shao and... Alum. There we go. So it's Shao and Alum. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah, exactly. There's new people, guys, so we just gotta be a little patient, especially considering it's the first round. A lot of the new guys haven't even been able to see what happens, and that's what I really like about doing these as well. Every single time I do a tourney, I get a minimum of 1 or 2 brand new people into this tournament. So it's just going to show you that how far it's extending. I solicit in a lot of different places: World v World, Divinity's Reach, Lion's Arch, Radisum, and I'm always pulling these guys in, and I usually get messages at the end that was super fun. Thank you so much, man. I want to come back to do another one. And I do them every day, so they don't necessarily have to miss them. Whenever they're available, they know they're happening, and I do them roughly around the same exact times every day. I try to compensate for the AT. I don't like to correlate my 2v2s or 1v1s with the AT because I kind of miss out on some people. And at the same time, not only do they get gold for my tourney, but then they can go do the AT and get some more gold. So here we go already. Huntress has got to be really careful now. He's got to be able to kite a little more. He can't be so flat-footed. He might be new to Ranger, so I'm not entirely sure, but he's definitely really flat-footed. He's getting super focused. There you go. He's already in the Binding Blade. He's got that from the Guardian. He's not able to get the pull. I believe he has stability. Yeah, lots and lots of stability. Tries to get his worldly impact. He's just getting chewed out over there. He's got to do a much better job of mitigating damage. He's actually able to get some good damage onto you. Maybe Equivoco can take advantage. Nope. He was able to fully heal right off that. I think he did go down, but then the stomp brought him right back up. It doesn't look good for Enlil for Equivoco on this one. So our next match coming up, guys, is actually going to be... Oni and CJ Rich versus Crisis and Valor. This is going to be a good match. These are non-free agent teams. These are 2 teams that have signed up willingly as a group, so this is going to be a little more organized and a little more structured. Crisis Valor versus Oni and CJ Rich. Equivoco doing a really good job of sustaining. Let me just take a quick look at this. He tries to get the Glen Elite, which he does, and he's able to separate the two. So he's actually creating a 1v1 on this side. Good job by Duke Metatron being able to separate himself. This is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. If he can get the down on Duke, and then you force you to go for the res and just try to get those easy cleaves, but it's going to be difficult to do because they're already starting to resustain. He's starting to create some distance. Quevicoke's in a little bit of trouble. The Warriors just trailing him really hard at full health. His moment of opportunity has come and passed. Super unfortunate, but good job either way by Quevicoke. And we got Duke and you, the Compassioner. That's Louis PTM, I believe. And Onlil moving over into our quarterfinals. Congratulations to you, boys. Unfortunately, your next opponent is going to be quite tough. So now we have Oni and CJ Rich versus Crisis and Valor. This should be good. And Crisis also mentioned to me just before he came in that he was going to be trying something very different. And you, hey, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that, Cough Syrup, for the follow, man. Thank you, man. I really do fucking appreciate that. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you so much. So who do we have? Papa's already in there. And I believe Crisis is in here somewhere. Yeah, and that's what I like about teams that enter together as opposed to free agents. If one of them enters, I know usually the other one is not very far behind, as opposed to free agents where they don't really know that they're paired with each other, and it's kind of hard. But I do have 2 or 3 substitutes lying in the wind in case one of my substitutes or one of my free agents does decide to bow out. I'm using it for the second round. Okay, he's going to be using normal. So while we wait for Oni to enter up, I'm going to look at Crisis's build over here. He's running Radiance, Valor, and Virtues. Your regular Firebrand, but he also likes to run with Hammer. I find Hammer a little clunky, but I really enjoy watching it, the damage it puts out, and if you're able to use it and get comfortable with it, it has a really nice flow to it, but you have to kind of understand how it works and how to pace yourself throughout its moves. He's running with Sword and Focus. He's running with the Hammer, as I mentioned. Let's take a quick look at Meatwad over here, Valor. He actually did really good yesterday, or I think it was yesterday in the 1v1 tournament that I held. He did an exceptionally well job, especially considering that he went out against some Condi, which he's kind of susceptible to. He did counter it pretty well. So he's running with Dagger and Warhorn with Greatsword. He's got Rune of Leadership and Seeker. Another Tactics Warrior. We're starting to see a lot of Tactics Warriors. He's running Spellbreaker, Tactics, and Strength. Let's take a quick look at Pop over here. He's running Devastation, Invocation, and Herald. Your classic Revenant build with Resistance and Marauder. And Annulment as well, as always. Now let's take a quick look at Jealous the Hit. This is Oni. He's running your regular tools, Hollow. Doesn't look like he's made any major changes over here. He's running with Rune of the Eagle, I guess, for a little more damage. Especially if you can bring them down to 50%. Considering you got a Hollow and a Revenant, I don't think it's going to be too hard for him to bring it down. I'm not sure who they're going to focus on, but I would definitely want to focus on Crisis as much as I can. Meatwad does have a lot more mitigation and sustain and kite ability. If they're able to pin down Crisis before you're able to put down any big damage, he is running with a Hammer, so he does have that little bubble that he can use to kind of mitigate and stay safe. He does get him with the Glint Elite. Very surprised he was able to manage to get that off right away. To Shackling Wave right after. Looks like they are focusing on Crisis. Jealous is in a little bit of a hot spot, but he does have his healing turret. Big damage coming out from Valor. He's got to be really careful. So is Papa. Oof. And this is what we saw from the 2v2 before. Now they're actually starting to turn back the pressure onto Crisis. Let's take a look at his cooldowns here. And that's exactly why he's starting to get heavy pressured. He does have his Contemplation of Purity. His heal is just about to come up. He's going to want to put down some damage after he uses it. And there's the bubble, that little shield or the ring of warding, if you will. Yeah, ring of warding that he's able to put down. Now, heavy pressure coming onto Crisis. There's not much he can do, especially with the Revenant who's able to pour it on top of him wherever he so chooses. Now, Meatwad, does he have his Rampage? I would have probably used Rampage exactly what he did. Goes for the Rampage, ends up getting the down on Jealous. Beautiful execution. Almost using Crisis as a bait. And he went down for the res. And as I mentioned, I was like, oh, I'm surprised he's not using the Rampage before he does res. He almost used it as a bait. He popped his Rampage super quickly, stomped over onto Jealous of the Hit, and just completely annihilated him, turning the tide of this match in a complete 180. Really good job by Crisis and Meatwad. And this is what I mentioned about people playing with each other and having that synergy, and also being in comms. They play often together. I've seen them in the other 2v2. They focus their targets really well. Yay! Thank you, sir. And that's Nature Salad, guys. He's really helpful for these tournaments. These are all community driven. These are all community funded. And he's a big donator of mine. He really helps out. And he's also here to be a substitute at the same time. So here we go into game. Okay, he's already made a change over here. Yeah, he's already made another one over here. Going for a lot more sustained. And that's the thing with the Warrior and the Guardian. The Guardian can pop him really quick, and the Warrior can pop him at any moment's notice. Literally a quick whirlwind or an arcing slice. And I think he's running with daggers, so the breaching strike can be very, 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 very dangerous. And you don't really notice them coming, especially the arcing slice. If your opponent's like Crisis, I'm not sure if he's running with... Nope, he's not. So there's no real big MO, but he does have the Ring of Warding to kind of keep his opponents exactly where he wants them. Looks like they're focusing on Jealous. Good job by them. Oh, Papa comes right back up. It looks like it was going to be a potential 2v1. He baited him off the top tier to try to create that 2v1, but he ported right back to him. And Papa's not able to engage too hard and be able to peel for him. He's used a lot of his mitigation, a lot of his invuln. Now he's just trying to sustain him. Let me take a quick look at what he's running over here. Okay, still going with Marauder and Leadership. Crisis is very, very low. Does he have his renewed focus? He did pop his renewed focus, so he's got no more O-Shit button, and this is a huge, huge advantage for Jealous and Oni and Papa. They know that he has no more really big, good counter pressure coming out from Meatwad, doing an excellent job trying to peel for Crisis, but once again, he's gonna go down. I don't think he's going to be able to cleave this or to be able to get the same trick he pulled off once on them. CJ and Oni are very smart PvP players. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's not going to be happening for them. Meatwad is a very, 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 very strong warrior. And I have seen warriors win 2v1s and fucking clutch it up. It was maybe like two 2v2s ago. It was actually Arathorn Stark, who actually his partner died instantaneously, almost within the first 20 seconds of the match starting. He actually survived all the way. Oof. Jealous actually getting the advantage on the Rampage. I believe he got the Rampage. Yeah, he got the Rampage from the Elixir X and taking him down. So it's a 1-1 series again. Really impressive. Our second match in this tournament. Holy moly, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Our second match and in our first round, and we're already going into a game 3. So this is really, really, really good. They're countering to each other really well. They're adjusting to their play styles. And they're not getting too aggressive. As you saw when they had the down, he used the Elite to try to push him away from any sort of res that he was going to do and just kind of cleave from far. And that's the advantage they have. The Revenant doesn't have too much projectile or too much range, but that's the advantage from Papa or not Papa, but from Oni that he can bring. And at the same time, Papa can just kind of stay away, and then whenever he's ready, kind of burst into there. I think the Hollow has a little more of the kite ability and a little more sustain, depending on when Papa uses his Glint Heal. But I don't think he has as much sustain as the Hollow, definitely not. But oddly enough, he's the one who's going to engage first. He does have that port. He uses the AoE. He's already used his Shockwave, not at full percent. He wasn't even high up, and oof, Papa's getting really low already. I do believe he's already popped his Glint Heal, yeah, so that's a good sign for the blue team. They're taking full advantage, and they noticed that the Glint Heal was popped, so they're full pressure onto him. Oni's not able to get fast enough to get back to the peel. He does manage to peel a little bit with the Shockwave, but with the new patches, the Shockwave is kind of like the Hollowsmith throwing a little baby temper tantrum. Doesn't really have the same fear factor that it used to. So that's Papa that's going down, and Onilicious is just trying to survive, and this is why I kind of like the map mechanic. It's not entirely done, you know what I mean? If he's able to kind of mitigate the damage and kite for a while and stay away from them and then get some lucky big burst, or maybe if he's super lucky they end up following into the AoE, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Meatwad getting him in the big stun and able to get that 100 blades right on top of him. Really good job coming out from Crisis and Valor. So our next match coming up is Poison Well and the RPG Store versus Alex and Control Freak. This is going to be another good match. I'm really excited to see this one. So Poison Well, RPG Store. I'm letting them know in the map chat, guys, in case they're not in the Twitch with me. Versus Alex, Control Freak. The Control Freak is a very dominant, and Alex is one of those rising stars that I like to see. And this is one of the big benefits, or one of the enjoyments that I get from doing these. This is probably my 19th 2v2, I think, and I've done about 68 or 69 1v1s, and I've done about 8 3v3s. So that's a lot of them, and I'm able to see, and that's over a long period of time. So I'm actually able to see these repeat guys getting better and better and better and better, and it's really cool to see, especially when you get into the 2v2 situation where they have to actually function with someone and really time their big bursts. Especially going from when, and I record them all, so going from to see them at the beginning to now is very, very, it's like, I don't know what it is. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't read this. People are leaving the game. People not streaming anymore. People getting permabanned. Yeah, that's really shitty. And
He's on a Condi Mesmer band.
is he on a Condi
Is
Mesmer?
it Condi Mesmer or Power?
That's not Condi. No power. Power. Let me take a quick look. And yeah, that's what I'm really ashamed of. But what I've been noticing since I've started streaming, I've seen a lot more streamers coming. And if you guys have a stream, man, post it in my chat. I encourage streamers, as many Guild Wars 2 streamers. If you have it, post it in the chat, man. I will tell people to follow and subscribe. I'll even follow and watch you. I like to watch all types of streamers. And there's a lot of information that you can pick from them. Even if it's a new streamer, you can still even see what not to do, you know what I mean? Or maybe you can even guide them and help them a little bit. But I'm just trying to help as many. I'm just trying to bring the community together. I do these, like I said, I do these events all the time, and I'm just getting more and more people coming, and more people recognize me. And it just gets better and better and bigger and bigger. Let's take a quick look at Control Freak over here. He's actually running on Condi Thief. Interesting dead shot with Crate. I don't see Gip running too much on this. Control Freak running too much on this. He's got Sword with Dagger and Short Bow. Deadly Arts, Trickery, and Daredevil. Let's take a quick look at OG. I think he's running, yeah, much more of a supporty build with Zeal. No, maybe it's a hybrid. Yeah, it definitely looks like a